utility for them to utilize around Moraita Boy or the other champions that they can use. On the other side naman, that's Cerberus. I'm really watching right now Trevor, and yes, he's going for the Elise. And I've seen Elise on the Hextech Proto Belt extending the range of the cocoon.
Yeah, that's pretty
So,
scary. Like dash in, flash in, and then cocoon.
yeah, so basically you can't escape with that spider sense he has.
True, but you really can't ban out Trevor. I mean, he's similar to his sister team Suez, wherein they just can play almost any jungler
Yes, their champion
with
pool was huge.
a high level of skill.
Yes.
Yeah, player skill.
And right now you have seen also the Anami in the hands of Shadow. Are we going to see a tidal wave
Steal?
stealing?
Oh my!
Yeah.
Like he's done already the Winter's Bite steal. He's done a Dark Binding steal. Let's now see a tidal wave steal.
So I'm really excited. Of course, that's Shadow. He has those clutch plays around those team fights, and really, Asian Arena can really engage because of how Shadow plays.
Yeah. Ooh, look at this is gonna be a mid lane
Wow.
karma. Riku a while ago was actually telling us about Schnitzel liking the hookers.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm just kidding. The champions with the hooks.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're going to see him on that trash, and of course that's a Twitch. So invisibility plus a death sentence inside the box. How can you escape?
Well, there is some form of weakness I could see from the side here of Asian Arena. I mean, this Nami pick with the tidal wave as well as the bubble, I seem to think like there is no real counter here for side of Asian Arena. They picked a Thresh onto that Nami. I mean, they could have maybe made it a Brahms to counter out the tidal wave. I mean, the tidal wave positioned correctly can actually literally drown the opposing composition.
And of course, looking that's a Caitlyn who has a caliber net, who has a trap. And of course, on top of that, you have the eve and flow to sustain the lane. So how can you possible on that sentence plus a damage from Twitch? So basically, they can just go ahead and disengage, drop the tidal wave, put up a good bubble, and changing it into a trouble with that Elise.
Yeah.
So basically, right now, that's an open ban. I mean, that's an open champion in the hands of Chalk, having the Varus, since they changed the ban into a Kindred and Rek'Sai.
Yeah. Now we are seeing that Cerberus Esports gonna opt for this Fizz. So Jason not having the best of time of it. Yes, he got like 2 kills from that Fizz, but then it was like Cerberus Esports being a bit too lax in the top lane while focusing on the mid lane and the bottom lane. But we'll see how Yux actually uses this, improvised echo in the top lane.
So of course, right now that improvised echo really burns a lot, and he's going to bring an ignite instead of flash. So this is a different play against Jason, who has a flash on that Fizz. He pulled up a tower dive, but naging lax yung laning niya. He has the upper hand pero hindi niya ginamit yung teleport place niya. Hindi siya he was tanky enough but wasn't able to execute or kill someone on those team fights. So basically,
yeah, I think like one of the reasons why that is because going for a tank Fizz build requires you talaga to get that ignite teleport because the kill potential for the Fizz actually drops down when you just have the flash and teleport, especially when you go against with that Sunfire build without any damage whatsoever. You just rely too much on your Sea Stone Trident, but I don't think it doesn't have enough kick compared to if you have that additional ignite.
And of course, going back, Jason was opted staying on that Bambi Cinder and Spectre Skull. All of those team fight, hindi siya gaano nakagamit ng Sunfire because he opted for a true two mid item build. So basically, hindi siya nakabuo na single and just finishes them nung late game na. Having also no damage because Cerberus already has the upper hand. So that Fizz wasn't able to, snowball as how he needed to be.
Yeah, okay. So let's put aside first yung top lane. Let's check out this mid lane. It's gonna be Chalk on a comfort pick with the Varus, and then Echo, Loop KR on a Karma. I've seen him before MPGL 7, no Legacy 2 pa siya, very aggressive on any mid lane that he has been. So what do you think about just the matchup, not the players themselves?
Well, right now, of course, that's an advantage for Karma. Knowing that it has a shield, the mantra plus inner flame really hurts a lot You also have the Inspire, yun nga yung shield, and the Resolve na pwede kang ma-snare. This is a Varus who has not picking up a Ghost. This is just a heal. Once na ma-snare siya, plus the combo from Focus, basically lahat na ng skill tatama eh. And yung ult ni Varus, knowing na the mid lane Karma is bringing up a cleanse, no lockdown at all. So right now, I'm really opting for this Karma to go up or to rise above the rest.
Well, rise from the rest actually.
Rise on the rest, sorry.
Pero titignan natin, how can you actually finalize the kill onto Chalk? Yes, you do have a lot of poke, but that's not actually, executing skills. And then you have Morita Boy on a Graves, which is, yes, you do have the damage, but then where is your CC? It's gonna be on the Karma, but then what if you don't what if you don't land the tether? So we'll just have to see how that pans through in the mid lane. Now let's check out this bottom lane. Caitlyn, Nami versus the Twitch and Thresh.
So yes, as I've said nga a while ago, I would really opt for Cerberus since it has the even flow. It has the kit of Nami that can really help. And of course, that Aqua Prison plus the Yordle Snap Trap can really lock down someone. But of course, you need to stay away. That's Schnitzel on that Thresh, bringing up an Ignite. Worst, pag may dala pa siyang Thunderlords. So basically, it will negate the heal from Marky, and it also will negate the power heal from Even Flow.
Yeah. Though it's kind of scary because Keith is on a Twitch. You don't have a lot of mobility except for the flash, but then what if you get caught by a bubble? That's lapagan na lang ng trap dito ni Caitlyn.
So it's an ending.
Yeah, that's
well.
a lot of single target CC that has a combo, and then it's kind of deadly since if the trap does connect, you do have that the passive from the Caitlyn shots, and then Twitch is not really like a Graves with the true grit, very easy to get bursted down. So again, it's all how these players actually
how are they going to play this one.
Yeah, but in terms of the compositions, who do you think will actually get the better of it?
Well, I'll go with, of course, Cerberus. Well, because of that Nami, Nami really changes the draft of those teams. Like kahit naman sabihin mong you have the long range power from Twitch, if it reaches the tidal wave plus the Aqua Prison, and of course yun nga yung rappel ni Elise that can really reach out on the backline, plus the Urchin Strike into the Trickster that can really execute that Twitch.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, that's all the analysis for Game 2. Welcome to the Summer's Rift. We are, again, on Game 2 for this Best of 5 series between Cerberus Esports and Acion Arena. So for the blue team, we have Cerberus Esports. Yux will be on that Fizz in the top lane. In the jungle, it's going to be Trevor with the, oh my goodness, wait, hold that thought. They follow up onto Chalk, flashes in with Jason with that Twisted Advance, but they miss that Death Sentence from Schnitzel here. Bit too over aggressive there from Acion Arena, but it looks like they have blood in their eyes looking to get some kills against Cerberus Esports. Let me finish my roll call. It looks like they want some more fights right here. Okay, they're not going to stop the recall from Jason there, and I think we have weathered the storm just by a little bit. I'll finish it off. Chalk in the mid lane with the Varus, and in the bottom lane duo, it shall be Marky with the Caitlyn, and Shadow will be his support on the Nami.
And of course, on the red side, that will be Acion Arena. On the top lane, that will be Jason on Maokai. On the jungle, that will be Morita Boy on his Graves. On the mid lane, that will be Echo on Karma. Of course, on the bot lane, Marksman AD carry, that will be Sneaky. That's on Twitch, on Keith. And on the support, that will be the Hooker, Schnitzel on that trash.
Well, actually, you talked about how you like Cerberus Esports composition. I guess I'm going to go for the other side. I'm going to go for Acion Arena because I do like that they have two dominant forms of playstyle here. They can go boost up Jason and go for a Twisted Advance pickoff. Or if Keith gets his itemizations with that Twitch, he can actually be ambush and then movement speed boost by Eiko, and then if he just catches anyone off guard, that's a 1v1. Twitch is a very strong ADR assassin. This is the playstyle that we have seen time and time again when an ADR picks at Twitch. Just go assassinate someone from right off from mid lane, going in onto the opposite mid laner's part, and then you just get free kills, and then it's a 4v5, go for objectives. We have to see if Acion Arena will do with that typical playstyle, and I think it's going to be effective here since Cerberus Esports might not expect that type of aggression from Acion Arena.
Well, right now, yun yung isang gusto kong i-point out. If, Keith can just go ahead and farm, late game, he can be a beast assassin that can take out someone and just go lantern out.
Yeah, and in the team fights, he's not gonna, fall short because he does have that rat-tat-tat.
Yes, and of course, knowing na si Jason is nasa front line with that vengeful Maelstrom, that would really help a lot for them to stay on the team fight.
Yeah, true, as he will soak up a lot of damage, but we'll have to see where the first gank of Trevor will occur. Looks like it's gonna be Acion Arena gonna pull the trigger very quickly. There's a connection of skills rather, from the side of Acion Arena, but Moraita Boy did not know what hit him. Here comes Trevor from the sidelines. Teleport gonna come out from Jason there, but I don't think that was necessary at all, as it didn't look like the fight will follow through that long. 2v2 in the mid lane, nobody died, but lots of heals as well as Flash being burnt right off the bat.
And yes, that's what I'm saying regarding that Echo Karma pick. You have seen, of course, the snare was able to hit, and the damage from Moraita Boy, it showed on that. The mantra plus inner flame really, hurted a lot.
Chalk.
And right now, a really good response from Trevor, not questionable. And
yeah,
the one questionable was the teleport.
Yeah, I really didn't think Jason had to do that. It was just a 1v1 in the top lane. And then mid lane, again, if you look at it from our perspective, maybe he's not like, oh, maybe we can net more kills here if Cerberus Esports are, gonna go in a bit more aggressive. But that's not how Cerberus Esports like to do so. So, you gotta time your teleports now. And Cerberus Esports know this. That's like, what, 3 minutes that TP is gonna be off cooldown. So if Yux hits level 6 and that teleport from Jason is still not up, it's gonna be a 4v5 somewhere, or a man advantage somewhere for the side of Cerberus.
And right now, I just want to point out this bot lane. This Twitch, an assassin Twitch, is an item reliant, and right now he's sitting on a 5 creep score. So basically, Marky has the advantage on that 27 or 28 minion kill.
Yeah, we actually didn't tap into this bottom lane matchup in terms of how you would just without actually steps on a trap, forces the heal right there. Keith, I don't think he wanted to actually, obviously he didn't want to do that, but Shadow not following up with a rune prison or an aqua prison.
Well,
still, the aggression is there.
A noticeable trap.
Yeah,
not
true.
really sure. It was unnoticeable, and of course, I think Shadow wasn't expecting Keith to just walk into that trap.
Yeah. But now, again, like you said, 35 to 14, that is a huge margin of CS that Keith has to work back up. They need some sort of pressure reliever here that might be embodied by Moraita Boy, but he still has not shown himself in that bottom lane for the first 5 minutes of the game.
And another problem nga kasi, they have seen that the teleport is on cooldown, so they can really just go ahead and overextend. So right now, wala talaga gaano magagawa yung other part for Arena.
Yeah, and this is kind of scary because this Nami-Caitlyn duo, because they do have that, that attack damage booster from the Nami, and then just the straight raw attack range of this Caitlyn is really bullying out Schnitzel as well as Keith.
And of course, you don't want na maulit ngayon nasa game 1. Nahuli na lahat bago pa nagka-item yung Arena. So I think they need to do something about this.
True that.
But of course, right now, mid lane can't really go ahead and roam since this Vower is on Shock. If makahawak lang to and on the bot.
Hold that thought. Shadow here, a bit caught out. There's the Ignite coming in from Schnitzel. Forces him to flash away, but Keith tries to follow through. Is the poison enough to actually tick and kill Shadow? It's gonna be very close. He still survives, and while that was happening in the top lane, Moraita Boy gonna be trying to get the kill onto Yux, but you know what? He does have that playful slash trickster, and this is a very slippery fish in the top lane.
Yes, so you have seen the battle on the bot lane. Muntik nang matuluyan yung death sentence na yun, ha? But still, it was a good play for Marky and Shadow to stay on the lane, and on the mid lane, you are seeing that snare into Mantra Inner Flame, but of course, no kill at all. Just poking him down. Ito lang yung nakikita ko sa mid lane, eh. Or ito lang din yung magiging mostly advantage din sa team fight is they can poke both each other. Mas long range lang yung Cunivarus, but of course, Echo on that utility, Mantra plus Inspire really helped them on the team fight.
Yeah, and if you actually check it out, as long as Chalk doesn't die and he just keeps farming he will scale later better
Yes.
than Aiko. I mean, this is a mid lane AD that we're talking about, and he has a lot of AD damage. I mean, I've seen, you know, mid Varus just go for like the skill shot Varus, but then there's this the hybrid wherein you go auto attack as well as caster. It's just very strong as well.
And right now, you have seen yung advantage na meron si Naomi with that even flow. It doesn't need to go back to sustain the lane. And right now, we're going to see Keith and Schnitzel going back. So mas mabibehind sila. That's 56 against 27.
Yeah, and with that recall, you know, forcing Keith to actually buy items that are incomplete, it will still, if you look at it, the wave being pushed by Cerberus bottom lane, and what this does is that it's gonna bounce back into their own, denying more CS, and you know, might overextend Acion Arena for a gank for Trevor here. You know, this is just Cerberus Esports planning the laning phase. We'll just have to see how Acion Arena get out of this slump and try to get the mid game phase for themselves with some ganks.
Oh, on the top lane right now.
Jason gonna be forced to flash. There's the ultimate. There's the ignite. Looks like he's gonna be first blood here, but he still survives. Will Trevor actually follow through? Answer to that is no. While in the mid lane, nice connection from that Q. That sentence from Chuck, and oh my goodness, he actually outplays Aiko and Schnitzel with a flash heal and chain of corruption. And here comes Yux with the teleport. Still hunger in his eyes. Aiko still having that flash, can actually go in. Chuck, bit too greedy there, but only eats one Q. Here comes Jason. Looks to be aggressive and try to, you know, avenge his fallen comrade. They still try to go in onto Aiko here. Marky is gonna be able to do so with the passive, and that'll be Cerberus Esports just getting 2 kills right off the bat against Acion Arena. Acion Arena tried to do something in the mid lane, but
that was too much for Schnitzel. Alam natin yung cleanse nasa Karma eh, pero wala sa Thresh. So basically, Chop can lock down that one. And of course, the whole team, whole squad of Cerberus was on the vicinity. They can just go ahead and follow up another kill, and of course convert it into a dragon advantage right now. That's an Infernal Dragon in hands of Cerberus.
Oh my goodness, Keep actually stepping on a trap for the second time.
A solo kill coming from Marky.
That's gonna be a punish there from Marky. You did it the first time, you survived. The second time, it's not gonna happen again.
Right now, Cerberus are really aggressive since they have the advantage, and of course the tidal wave
There's
has
the tidal
been
wave. And this is just a fight for the Blue Sentinel, and Acion Arena, this is their own Blue Sentinel, and they're fighting their lives for it. They actually might lose some if they force too much, but Cerberus Esports actually might lose some of their own if they are not careful on that one. It'll be them. There's the corrupted chase. They go in on the Chalk. Can they final the shots onto him? No, Dash actually uses that end of the line, but that was a 2-for-1 trade. Gonna be in favor of Cerberus Esports. They only lose Chalk. They get the blue buff, and Acion Arena holding on to this one, but slipping. It's slipping slowly but surely from their grasps.
That was a very good play coming from Cerberus, negating the blue buff from in the hands of Aiko, since Aiko has that mantra Inner Flame, which is alarming or a big threat on team fights.
Yeah, and in the top lane, Yux using that ultimate of his to actually just, you know, rattle Jason just by a little bit. He does have a 10 CS advantage against Yux, but, you know, it still hasn't translated into anything for Acion Arena because his teleport plays have been a little bit subpar for the side of Acion here. I really think Acion should use Jason's teleport much more effectively, but we'll still have to see because they still have that possibility of Keith being an assassin, but the problem now is he has no damage whatsoever to actually follow up if they try to do something that's sneaky.
Well, right now, you are seeing a very good investment coming from Cerberus. Of course, that's 3-0, 3-0-1 from Mark. So they have the firepower they need on that Caitlyn.
Yeah.
And of course, that's a bit of sword in his hands. Plus the call. Na pag nag-pop na yung call niya, mas, ano mo yun, early items that can really help them.
Extra 300 gold is always nice. Chalk eating a key right there. Inner Flame, I believe, from Aiko. And if you actually look at it, Cerberus Esports previous game, game 1, Marky had no kills.
Yes.
And now he has all the kills for Cerberus.
So, Oo nga, no?
Yeah.
It was like 0-1-6 on that game, and right now he has the most
Ow.
kills right now.
There you go.
And
Look at
wow,
Shock. He just has that serrated dirt, and then he's already putting the hurt onto Aiko, putting him to 3-4 HP from just 1 Q. But there they go again for the second time onto Jason. This time you have no escape, my friend. There's the ignite, and he will be eating dust. As there, Cerberus Esports was able to finalize that one 2v1 situation. While in the bottom lane, it's still the same story since the start of the game. That is a 50 CS advantage by Marky against Keith. Unless Acion Arena try to put some love for Keith there in the bottom lane, it's not gonna look pretty for them. Though here in the mid lane, Chuck a little bit too aggressive, tries to go in onto Aiko, but eats that Q all day long. That was still kind of scary for Aiko right there, but still Acion Arena making the better of that one. 2v1, and they got the pick off onto Chalk.
Well, I really love how Chalk knows that Cleanse is on cooldown, but it was too much for him since he was quite careless, knowing that he has those wards on the side. And right now, on the bot lane.
Here comes the force. Knock up onto Moraita boy. Will Schnitzel hit this death sentence very close, almost an inch to that one. He's gonna take quite a bit of damage from this poison of the rat, but I don't think it's gonna amount into any kills as they try to re-engage onto Keith there. He actually gets out with the Dark Passage, but Moraita boy is gonna be left for the fishes, and Marky actually even nets himself a kill. Yux was there very late, but Cerberus Esports, it looked like that was a 2v4, baiting out Acion Arena to just try and get it. Like, if you're, fishing in some kills, you're actually just baiting it out with exactly a bait, and then you just get it. But now, we do see that Jason with the flash in and the twisted advance with the help from Aiko gonna get the kill onto Marky, so not a total loss for Acion Arena. But if you check out this mid lane, you do see that Shock as well as Trevor just starting it off. Alright, let's check out a replay from that one. And there you go.
So yes, on the bot, and you have seen
Look at that.
A very good bubble coming from Shadow, a very good disengage. And knowing that this is a 4-man resources investment in the hands of Acion Arena, I think it was really not that good enough. But right now, it was a good dance for Cerberus, to turn around the fight. They might be low, and right now,
there's
you
a
have seen
teleport.
the teleport from Yux on the back. It was a very good prison and cuts off the team. No going back. And yes, Yux was able to take down Schnitzel. And right now, moving on to the present game.
90% of that 2v4, Yux did not teleport.
I was thinking that he's going to take advantage of that 4-man resources investment.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that he's just going to, take the top turret and teleport if Acion doesn't stop.
Yeah, what's kind of alarming about that one is that Acion Arena, that was just a easy win from, just straight out player skill. But while I was talking about that one, if you see there, Acion Arena with a very sneaky play, and that's the second net of the kill. They're trying to go in onto Marky here, but Shadow is not far off from that one. That's gonna be the 1-for-1 trade. Actually, the 2-for-1 if you check Chalk going down. Marky did not expect that hook from Schnitzel, but Acion Arena looking to get signs of life here as they try to pick off the members of Cerberus Esports one by one. This is what I was talking about. If Acion Arena try to go in for the pickoffs, they will get them. They're not strong on the team fights, so it looks like they are getting the better of the fights if they just go in 3 at a time, 2 at a time.
Yes, and right now I'm not really sure why Trevor is on this side of the map and Keith dueling right now.
Even
with
if he
Aiko,
flashes over the wall,
and yes,
survives with the help of Shadow right there.
Yes, and he was able to steal that blue buff.
And with that, Acion Arena gonna start off a dragon for themselves. This is gonna be the first one for the game. It's gonna be a Earth Elemental, so the Mountain Drake. This will help them in terms of pushing down the turrets. But look at that, Chalk actually flashing over to the Dragon Pit, and it's now Cerberus Esports who have control of that one. But that was pretty scary from Chalk. If he did not have the flash, that might have been him going down, and then just Acion Arena getting this dragon for themselves, but they kind of overcommit to that one. Okay, so let's check a replay of that one. And there you go. Check this out though. The Schnitzel hook is on point.
Yes. It was really good.
How did they actually follow
the
through?
Follow up, of course,
They
coming
dashed
from
over
Keith.
the wall.
He flashed over the wall in the hands of Shadow. Of course, that's a burn deal coming from Marky as well. And the poke from Chalk was able to push Aiko away and secure the dragon. Shadow securing the dragon.
Yeah. Now, there's gonna be a fight here in the mid lane, and look at that. Keith, very low in HP, just from Yux. And while that was happening, on the opposite side of the spectrum, Cerberus Esports get the bot tier 2, are now starting this bot tier 3. They have themselves the Earth Elemental, and this is not looking good as their siege potential is empowered. There's the Corrupted Land being used by Shock to actually slow down whatever forms of engage that Acion Arena are trying to do. And look at this, they're not stopping at all. They've broken down the bot tier 3 and they're still looking for even more objectives here. There's the Q, lots of damage. Jason not having any follow-up. Cocoon follows through. But this is just a back and forth clash as Shock sniping out Morita boy. He's gonna feel that in the morning. Trevor gonna be the next one. But look at the fury of Marky as well as Shock. This double AD composition from Cerberus Esports is looking to be that flavorful for themselves. But Cerberus Esports, on the other hand, a bit too greedy, a bit too aggressive, get punished by Acion Arena. So if you check at it, they did get, I think, 3 for 2, which was good. But then Acion Arena, I think, got the better of that one because the inhibitor didn't go down.
Yes, indeed. And of course, that's I'm not sure if it's a shutdown, but those are kills. It matters most right now. Of course, na behind na sila. That's what I'm saying regarding Echo with that mantra plus inner flame. It was a double kill on that one. Chalk can really snipe away, pero you know, he walks in front. The death sentence was able to hit and added up another kill for Acion.
Actually, if you look at it, if you think about it, there isn't a true form of frontline for Cerberus side here.
Yes.
And what this does is, yes, there's a lot of range on Marky and Chalk, but if you have, you know, correct timing, you just have to like do what Eiko does. Just, you know, chug out the Qs and then you will hit these guys because on the other hand, Varus has to actually be stationary or very slow to hit, you know, to get out the piercing arrows. And then Marky, if there's like a good schnitzel hook, it will net them a kill.
And right now, of course, Keith already has that Blade of the Ruin King, which really can help him, of course, on team fights and whittle down. Since knowing that there's no tank on the side of Cerberus and on the bot lane, we are seeing a fight.
They're trying to, but there's the wall traps by Marky. Gonna stop any form of follow-up that Schnitzel actually wants to try and do. Now, there's a hook onto Marky. Are they being a bit too aggressive here as the members of Acion Arena try to barrel in onto the ADR of Cerberus Esports, slash ambush? Whoa, but wow, the damage from Marky was just too damn real. Keep there. I think he got into ambush form, but actually auto-attack, showing himself to Marky. So a little bit of, I would say, misplay. Yeah, he's gonna regret that very, very
much. I'm not really sure that. First off, you don't have any ideas where are the other teams right now.
Yeah.
And also, Death Sentence was able to hit. You flashed in to finalize the kill, but of course, you were killed as well. Yeah. So not really that good enough.
Cerberus Esports being too, I would say, lax there. If they try to keep doing that one, yes, they have the 7,000 gold lead, but it doesn't really matter. If you actually check out their composition, it's much more balanced for ACA because this is, you know, like an RPG composition. You have the front line, the main tank, you have the damage dealers in the back, and then you have supports in the back line.
Yes.
So if they try to keep doing that, it might, you know, be a bite in the ass for them, as it looks like Shadow will bite the dust with that one. But while that was happening in the mid lane, the boy surviving with the Trugan, with the flash away, missing that corrupted chains from the side of Chalk. And is the dragon ready to spawn? 1 minute and 15 seconds. They try to go in onto Trevor. They almost succeed, but Trevor does flash away. And slowly but surely, Acion Arena look to climb back into this one. But Cerberus Esports, this might be the wake-up call that they are needing to do because they have been actually getting caught up one by one.
Of course, this is a Schnitzel on Trash. He was on point on every hooks and a very good setups from ACA, putting some wards and a very good timing last time from that blue. And right now they are going to fight in the hands of Yux.
3-man knock up there from the Chum the Wallers, but it did not do anything as there was no real follow-up for Cerberus' side. Though it will still be that one inhibitor in the bottom lane already exposed. So even if Acion Arena are showing some signs of coming back into this one, if they actually slip up once, that'll be one inhibitor already down for the count, and that's 5 minutes of super minions, just barreling into the bottom lane, which you have to deal with unless you want your Nexus turrets to be the next target.
And right now, of course, you can't be lax. Cerberus can really be lax right now. That's a Twitch moving into the late game. So if he's going to have those late game items, he can just stay on the back lane and just whittle everything down. And right now, another
on to Trevor. He doesn't have a flash anymore. There's the root on him. Can he cocoon out of that one? And yes, the answer to that will be. But look at this. The re-engage from Cerberus Esports might be a bit too much, as Right the Boy gonna be the next target. There's Keep actually eating himself a piercing arrow even when he was on that invisibility, and Yux goes in onto him with the Trident, with the follow-up, with the Ignite, and he will go down. That is 4 members that Acion Arena just lost in the blink of an eye. Cerberus Esports had that one planned straight off the bat right after Trevor was caught. That was just beautiful execution of skills.
Oh, that was a bad play from Trevor, converting it into a good play.
Exactly.
Because of the response. He was mostly on this Cerberus side. Ilang beses na sila nag-face check or na-death sentence from brushes, but still, they continue doing it.
Yeah. Yung nakakatawa din pala sa combo ng Cerberus. One corrupting chains and then the tidal wave just to put you in place for the follow-up chain stuns.
Yes, of course, yung your snap trap din na pwede mong ipwesto para hindi kayo malapitan. So, it was a really good lineup for Cerberus right now, and knowing that Trevor was able to survive because of the rappel, that was too much resources burned from the side of ACA, and then a follow-up to save Trevor in the wave. Right now,
here comes the movement speed boost onto Marky. He 90 caliber nets away, but that mid-tier 1 doesn't look too long for this world. Acion Arena might try to get that one for themselves, as if you check out the far side, but the back side of Acion Arena, Yux lurking in the shadows, trying to get himself some kills to feed that hungry shark that he keeps somewhere. I don't know where he actually uses Chum. If you use Chum the Waters, where the hell does the shark come from when it's on ground? But here comes the engage that Cerberus Esports are looking for. There's the tidal wave that hits 3 members of Acion Arena. Jason looks to be the second target to go down, but this is a tank against... Never mind. I was about to say a tank against utility members, but right from downtown comes in Chalk with the Q, sniping him from offside. But here comes Yux. He has no fear at all. He is so tanky. What can they do? He eats an empowered Q, but it is not enough to even phase this Fizz in the top lane, in that mid lane, just putting even more pressure against Acion Arena. Now you check out this top side. Trevor as well as Chalk starting to siege this turret. They're trying to go in onto Trevor. He does have some tank items. There you go. Goes in with the corrupting chains and snipes out his opponents right off the bat. You see here, he's on invisibility, but he's just too damn afraid. There is no survivability if he shows himself right in the middle of those 3 members of Cerberus Esports.
Well, right now, Keith can really show himself because he just only has a Blade of the Ruin King in his hands. And of course, I really love Yux on how he cuts off the team fight. And that was a failed trickster, but right now, he's really on the advantage. He doesn't need to go back. It goes hard in with the jumps on the water under the turret. They are fighting Echo and was able to take down that Sissel, taking down Yux.
Well, Yux did die there, but I think that was just a good diversion for them to get that inhibitor in the mid lane. Does the dragon spawn soon? I don't think it will be, but still, 2 inhibitors already down and no vision outside the base of Acion Arena. This is gonna be a freebie Baron when Yux does respawn. And what this does is just, I think that's gonna be, this Baron is gonna be the final nail to the coffin that Cerberus Esports are digging for Acion Arena in Game 2. This is, I would think, Acion Arena, you gotta start being more proactive against Cerberus, because these guys are not someone who will just laze around in the lanes. They will take everything that you have on the map if you do not fight for it. Yan guys, kung nagharap kayo ng hugot, that was my hugot in like, I don't know, first couple of months already.
Yes, you don't do hugot na. Kahit ako na lang.
Ikaw na lang pala.
Ako na yung magiging tagapagmana ng hugot
lords.
So right now, we are seeing, of course, that Cerberus is on the upper hand, taking away everything. And yes, they are eyeing on that Baron vision. But we are 1 minute and 45 seconds away on the next dragon.
Trevor is not the target you want to force an engage on. The flank might be too real here from side of Cerberus Esports. There's Morita Boy going in. He is gonna get knocked up as well as Cocoon, and he is not gonna be long for this World Chalk on a rampage. Flashes away from the side of Acion Arena, and while that was happening in the mid lane, we do see that Yux as well as Marky are now knocking on these Nexus turrets. This is a last moment, knife's edge defense from the side of Acion Arena. The Hail Mary clash is soon to follow through, and this might just be Cerberus Esports gonna go for that 2-0 against Acion Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, they are just one win away from just winning out this best of 5 and gonna go against whoever wins against Imperial Pro Team and Infuse Esports. Here it is, the final Hail Mary pass. Shock is very low in HP, but he just has enough HP to fly away, to flash away, and there you go. That shall be Game 2.